What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday. Hopefully everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. It is time now for the Friday weather update for Friday, December 6th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the daily weather update for the United States, talking about all the weather happenings across the United States. Want to stay informed with what's going on? Just subscribe to my channel down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you like the video. The more people that hit that thumbs up button and leave comments, the more YouTube is going to spread this content throughout the algorithm. Of course, leave any comments down below. Share this video with anyone you know. That helps as well. And of course, hit that notification bell to be notified of my latest videos. Already, we do have several things to talk about today in the United States. First off, we have to talk about this. Over the weekend, there is going to be some heavy rainfall along parts of the Gulf Coast region, lower Mississippi Valley, and portions of Louisiana are going to see some heavy rainfall. Therefore, the Weather Prediction Center has now put up a slight risk of excessive rainfall for Sunday. There is also a marginal risk for Saturday as well, and they say there is a slight risk of excessive rainfall across the lower Mississippi Valley on Sunday, December 8th. Showers and thunderstorms will have the potential to produce 2 to 4 inches of rainfall, which could lead to scattered instances of flash flooding. Now, I should tell you at this moment, there is no risk of severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center, but stay tuned in case that does go up to a marginal risk over the weekend. Taking a look at power outages around the United States, still over 10,000 in California. Don't know what today's reasoning was. Yesterday there was that earthquake out there, so it says 14,535, and in the Northeast, not as many power outages today. Still 1,500 in Pennsylvania. As you know, it has been very windy across the northeastern states. Taking a look at the latest satellite picture, we do see the moisture is starting to build in Texas, evidenced by the cloud cover there. And we also do see that there are still clouds across the Great Lakes and portions of the Northeast coming from those lake effect snow squalls that have been impacting there. And cloud cover is starting to move into the Pacific Northwest at this time. Taking a look at the latest wind map, we can see here still some windy conditions in the Northeast. Calm in the southeast, but your temperatures are below average and not all that windy in the west. But take a look here in the central region. We are starting to see the first signs of a warm-up that is going to move into the eastern United States. Taking a look at radar, we're going to start off in the northwest today. You do see up in Vancouver and British Columbia some precipitation. This precipitation will generally start to shift south a little more, and as we head into the weekend, it will be rather unsettled in Oregon, Washington, maybe even extreme northern California, and yes, heavy rainfall and some mountain snows are possible. You also see in Alberta, take a look at this, a little bit of precipitation in Alberta and on eastward. That is a clipper system that will move into the far northeast this weekend. We still have some moisture going on over the Great Lakes, still some snow showers in Michigan, and even portions of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York State. That does continue. Some moisture is starting to gather now across portions of Texas. That is the disturbance that will lead to some moisture in Louisiana over the weekend and Mississippi, and eventually that will continue to the northeast and become a warm front, which will warm up portions of the eastern United States. Taking a look at the latest hazards map, and we can see there are still lake effect snow warnings up for western New York and portions of northwest Pennsylvania, and even one county in northeast Ohio. Freeze warnings continue across portions of northern Florida and southern Georgia. Yes, you could yet again have temperatures around the freezing mark tonight. Yes, it really is possible. Winter storm warning up for portions of Montana, with winter weather advisories for parts of western Montana and portions of Idaho. And there will also be a wind threat out there as well. Winds could gust as high as 50 to 60 miles per hour. Take a look at this. Northwest Nevada and northeast California. Freezing fog advisories up for you. If you have to travel through there, please be extremely careful. It could be icy in those areas. All right, taking a look at the Storm Prediction Center, there is this note about elevated risk of wildfires today across portions of California California, just to the northwest of Los Angeles. It's a really tiny area, but it's something you should be aware of. Please don't do any unnecessary burns in that area. Taking a look at the Weather Prediction Center, you can see, for the most part for today, a lot of places are quiet on this map, but it is going to get a little bit more active as we head into the weekend, and as we head into Saturday, that moisture will continue to build across portions of Texas. Take a look across the Great Lakes. A Clipper system is expected to move in, and there's that next system in the Pacific Northwest, and as I advance this, you can see that system in the Northwest as we head into Saturday afternoon and Saturday night does turn into a wintry mess in the higher elevations. They show some mixing precipitation, they show snow, maybe even some icing. Yes, could happen. And there comes that Clipper as it continues southeast. New England could see some snow first thing on Sunday morning. Maybe 1 to 3 or 2 to 4 inches of snow could fall in some places. And there's that precipitation that will build across portions of Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma. And this is needed rainfall for you. And on Sunday, you can see a wintry mess in the northern Rockies. And that will continue into Sunday night before that low will push towards Canada. A warm front will move in the northeast on Monday. With that, unfortunately, yes, warmer air. That's the good thing about the warmer air, but it will come with rainfall. And for those who don't want rain, sorry, rain is going to come, and quite frankly, you do need the rainfall, so it will be a welcomed reward. But of course, the warm-up, it's coming wet, not dry. And then behind that on Tuesday, there will be just still some showers before another round of maybe heavier rain moves in with a boundary on Wednesday, and a disturbance will develop along that boundary on Wednesday in the Carolinas. The question remains, how fast does that disturbance get going? Either way, for most, it's going to be a rain event, with exceptions to northern New York, northern Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, where it could turn a little wintry at the tail end of that event Wednesday night into Thursday of next week. And look what happens at that time. The warm-up. Yes, it comes again. I mean, there's going to be a brief cold shot behind that in the northeast, but behind that even further as we head into the following weekend, it's actually going to warm up again in the east. And look at this. Another system moves into the Pacific Northwest late next week, and that one could be more severe or more significant because it may go down to California. I'll show you that on the models in just a moment. Taking a look tomorrow, there is a marginal risk of excessive rainfall in eastern Texas and Louisiana. And here's that day 3 one, which is for Sunday. Yes, Louisiana, eastern Texas, Mississippi, Arkansas. Be prepared. There could be some localized flash flooding with this as the moisture builds and gathers, and yes, some thunderstorms as well. I don't think it's going to be much in the way of severe, but could a warning happen? One would not surprise me. Taking a look at the precipitation over the next 1 through 7 days, you see there isolated 2 to 4 inches of rainfall across portions of Louisiana and Mississippi, even locally 2+ amounts across Alabama and Georgia as well. And then as you go up the I-95 corridor up into the northeast, generally 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. Could be locally higher across portions of Maine. Some of that will be in the form of the snow from the Clipper system on Saturday, and then some of it will be maybe in the form of snow in Vermont or New Hampshire or northern New York at the very tail end of that system. In the northwest, heavy rainfall expected for you. Locally, 5+ inches across portions of Washington state. Yes, it's possible, and generally 1 to 3 in Oregon, and you'll see here in California, northern California, you will see some precipitation. A lot of what you're seeing here is from the second half, the very tail end of this forecasting period. The drought update yesterday, it's still not good in the northeast, which is why I say you do need the rainfall, and any precipitation that comes in the northern plains or in the northern Rockies, take it. You do need it. And any precipitation in Texas, take it. You need it. Same with pretty much all the southeast. Very few areas in the southeast don't need rainfall. Even these areas that are not showing up in drought, you could use a little watering at this time because it has been a rather dry period, so it would be good to give you a little bit of replenishment when it comes to the precipitation department. Taking a look at the NAM model here, we can see lake effect snows will continue across the Great Lakes today, though we do note that blizzard warning that was in Erie County, Pennsylvania has been dropped, and there'll still be a few periods of snow from time to time. As I advance this into Saturday, look what happens. A Clipper system comes down to the northeast, portions of New York, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Yes, snow is possible for you. And as we head into tomorrow evening, moisture will continue to build up in portions of Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas, and that should really get going as we head into tomorrow night. You also note here, portions of Connecticut and Rhode Island do get in on that Clipper system. In the Pacific Northwest, that system will continue to shift eastward, as I showed you from the Weather Prediction Center, so be prepared for that. It is going to be a rather unsettled weekend, and eventually it will taper off at some point for Washington, Oregon on Sunday evening, and you do see here on the NAM, also on Sunday evening, heavier rainfall for Louisiana, Mississippi, and eventually Alabama does get in on that as well. And you can see this warm front comes right into the northeast, and it does bring a period of rain on or about late morning into mid-afternoon for a lot of places in Pennsylvania, Delaware, and it will push through New York City and eventually New England and up in northern New England. There could be a little bit of cold air damming, which means some of the cold air lingers. There could be a little light snow or wintry mix on the beginning of this before it eventually all shifts over to rain. Now, to go beyond Tuesday, we have to take a look at the GFS. And on the GFS, you can see pretty much everything is the same through the first 84 hours, which we showed on the NAM. And quick note, there will be some windy conditions Monday into Tuesday for portions of Wisconsin and portions of Minnesota, maybe even a little snow in Minnesota. Before, as we get into, we'll say, Tuesday afternoon, you can see here the rain starts to build up in the south. The moisture starts to build. Could be a few thunderstorms along this system, and you can see that moisture will spread into the northeast. But look, it is mainly a rain event. Then that new disturbance gets going Wednesday evening. You see, you have to go to the very northwest fringes of this. Maybe Saratoga, New York, maybe Burlington, Vermont. You could end as snow. And you see, as the system gets going, the cold air gets a little closer, but places like Boston, New York City, Philadelphia, Washington, for the most part, this is a rain event. It tries to end as snow in Philly, but the moisture exits before that. Northern Maine and northern New Hampshire, like Mount Washington, Caribou, Maine, you could see a significant accumulation of snow, but you're really the exception to this. Behind this system next week, you can see a push of cold air does move into the east. Things are quiet once again on the west coast, but watch as I advance this. A new ridge starts to take in the east, and things warm back up once again. That cold air doesn't last long in the east, and your lull on the west coast from storminess, yeah, that ends. And let's actually zoom in on the northwest, something we haven't done in a few days. Look at this storm system for next Friday and Saturday. Now, it's far out there, but I want to make you aware of this. You can see here we are on Friday evening. Let's reverse this a little bit. You can see Friday morning. Watch what happens here. This is a pretty strong area of low pressure, 977 millibars, and that starts on first thing Friday morning, and that continues right on into Saturday and even into Sunday, and then another storm system moves in. I've been talking about this for some time. I think we are back into another setup, maybe even an atmospheric river of some sort, where you just get system after system in the northwest, and well, in the east, temperatures go above average, and we start to get dry once again where those fronts come, but the moisture kind of dries out. And look at this, even as you just go into the long-range GFS, a lot of different systems continuously hitting the west coast. So that's a pattern we'll have to keep an eye on, and it's much of the same over on the Canadian model as well. There's the weekend system in the northwest. There's the Clipper in the northeast. And as I advance this, there goes the warm front in the east. And the reason why I want to show you the CMC, here's that disturbance that develops midweek along that boundary. On the CMC, it does get a little bit more impressive in terms of the snowfall, maybe in the mountains of Pennsylvania, New York, and Vermont. but then it does exit, and watch what happens on the CMC. That cold shot that comes into the northeast, a little bit more significant, but even on the Canadian model, watch what happens. As we get into next weekend, you can see a southwest flow. And once again, things do warm up, and you do see a really stormy pattern, even on the Canadian model, in the Pacific Northwest before the middle portion of the run shows something in the Midwest, but that's 240 hours out, so we really shouldn't pay much attention to that because it's likely to change on the next run. Taking a look at the GEFS, and we'll use the temperature anomalies. Here's the current cold snap in the Northeast. That exits this weekend. Things moderate. Philly on Southwest on Tuesday. Yeah, you could be talking about temperatures in the 60s, but comes with a price. Those showers and that rain will get more significant on Wednesday. Here comes the next cold snap behind it, and this one, it does. Look, on the GEFS, it does get into the southeast U.S. as we head into later next week, but watch what happens. Just like that, it is gone by late next week. Already a warm-up and a little bit of a longer warm-up. It's going to last several days and into the following week. You see these little ripples here, which are mini troughs, but they really don't do much. Look at that. It just warms up again. The flow of Pacific air does take over, which means around average to slightly above average temperatures for much of the country as we head into the middle portion of this month. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Friday weather update. We'll probably have another weather update at some point tomorrow. If you enjoyed this update, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, and of course, leave your comments down below. I'll see you all again next time. Until then, have a fantastic Friday afternoon, and thanks for watching.